Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mahjong Meetup, episode number 8. I'm your host, Frenetic. Fortunately, Daisuke is out gallivanting in Europe, going to the Europe um, Ricci Championship, and he's going to go ahead and kind of do a liaison, maybe be a substitute player. Anyways, so I'm joined by our special guests here from Full Fukumoto Crazy. We're joined by Sonic Crazy. Say
What's
hello.
up?
Yeah, say hello, Sonic Crazy.
Hello.
Hey, there he is. And last but not least, we're joined by Crump Biggums.
Yo.
The reason why we're having this episode here on the Mahjong Meetup, I just wanted to highlight the scanlation groups that put out the great Mahjong manga for the community. It's actually, I just want to share a little personal anecdote. It's from reading these manga that have been scanlated, kind of gave me the desire to learn more about Riichi Mahjong, how to learn to play it, and how to keep motivated in playing Riichi Mahjong. So, as you may recall from some episodes ago, we featured Lion's Ridge, who scanlated most notably Tetsunaki no Kirinji. But we have one of the first Mahjong scanlation groups, Fukumoto Crazy, and I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor to them with this question posed to Sonic Crazy. Sonic Crazy, when did Fukumoto Crazy as a scanlation group, how did that get started?
So it was about 5 years ago. Um, Basically it was just me. It wasn't really like the name Fukumoto Crazy was supposed to be like my new name. Like I'm Sonic Crazy, so I just like I'm not into Sonic at all. So
Oh,
I
okay.
decided
Oh.
so I decided I'll just name myself Fukumoto Crazy from now on, and that'll be my new name. So I wrote that like under all my scanlations. Because previously I had been with the group We Can't Decide, who scanlated the first 13 chapters of Kaiji Part 3. And I decided, hey, I should start doing Akagi. And
Oh, okay.
that's when I decided, well, it's not really a group, so I'll just release it under my own name. I will release it as Fukumoto Crazy, and I put that on all the like manga reader sites as like my group, and I didn't know how to change my name, like my username, so I just left it as Sonic Crazy. So eventually, like I did this for a while. I just released those chapters um under Fukumoto Crazy for a while, and then I got a message from a translator named Sasayaki Yako who wanted to translate Akagi for us. And I was like, yeah, sure, because like I wasn't like that confident in my translating skills at that point.
Okay, okay.
So so basically, they just translated it for me, and I was like, well, I guess we kind of need a new name now because it's Fukumoto Crazy,
Skills at that
and
point.
like that just sounds like a username, so we need to change it. But like we couldn't figure out a new name for it, and that one seemed okay, so it's just been that. And I've actually
Ah.
I've just I've asked like Bigums and Timbre before, like if they wanted to change the name because it's like it's not really just me anymore. It's a whole group, so we should really not be named after me.
Oh.
But you know, it's just like they I remember Bigums said like no, you were the one who made this group, so you should be in the name. So I was like, okay, whatever. So that's also why my Tenho name is Fukumoto Crazy rather than Sonic Crazy, because I made my Tenho name while I was still releasing chapters under Fukumoto Crazy. So
Oh, I
yeah,
see, I see. Wow.
I think it just works as a name for a group of people who are crazy about Fukumoto.
sure, yeah.
You're totally right. Wow. I guess I wanted to ask you, Sonic Crazy, how you started doing it by yourself, and so how many chapters did you release by yourself? Like, did you um, do the
It was
translation or?
Yeah, it was mostly I did all the translating and typesetting and all that by myself. And I did it very badly.
Mm.
Like I look back at those chapters now and I'm like, well, it's not worth redoing them because they're like right, like they're accurate at least, but they look terrible. Um, but yeah, I released about, I would say like 30, less than that, like 20, I'll say, chapters,
Mm.
before I got any help. So.
And how did you end up getting helping? I guess I'm trying to pay attention to this more to kind of send a message to other maybe prospective Scanlation members, or how you were able to get people to join your group, or how did they volunteer? This is kind of the same that question I asked like Lions Ridge.
Yeah,
I,
I
yeah,
don't.
I just left a comment on it.
Oh, oh, how did that happen, Crumpigans? Like, what did you do?
Ooh, well, I mean, somehow I found Fukumoto Crazies, the website, and I thought it
Somehow.
was really awesome that there were like little blog posts for each chapter of, and I was like, oh man, I can read about the get translators' thoughts of each chapter and stuff, and what was different from the anime, and yeah, I wanted to be a part of it, help them out in any way I could, get more releases coming out more frequently.
Wow, that's cool. Like, what time did you get into that? Then when you started posting on the blog, Fukumoto Crazy blog.
Yeah, I'd say around late 2011,
Oh,
probably.
oh,
Maybe,
okay.
maybe 2012, but I can look it up eventually. But yeah,
So that so that goes to show you having like a blog, uh, kind of was you were able to engage with maybe fans or other prospective members that want to help out. Wow, that's great. Um, so
Yeah, I wouldn't say I ever like directly like went out of my way to like look for people. They just kind of came to me. So
wow,
that was
so
nice. Yeah.
so you translated third about 30 or so chapters, and then who came in to help you out first, and what and when and how did that happen?
That was this guy.
yep.
Well, I mean, before that there was Sasayaki Yako, but she didn't stay very long.
Hmm.
Bigums was the first guy that really like offered to like, uh, he wanted to clean for us, and I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like I don't really like that anyway. So,
Oh, that's
um,
great.
and then I tried to go back to like doing it all by myself for like Atsuize Tenma, and I was like, Bigums is just so much better at this. So I'll just give it to him. So that's how I just decided. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna not do this by myself anymore. You know.
Wow. Uh,
So
so, Crump, Mr. Biggums, Crump,
Mr. Bigums, yes.
did you have experience with Scanlation before you? I know we had talked before during the PML Ricci Open, but let's recap for the viewers at home. Um, did you have experience doing a Scanlation before you hooked up with Fukumoto Crazy? Or posted on that blog post.
Yeah, like a little bit here and there. Like I worked with the like I got all caught up with Kaiji season 2 or part 2,
Mm.
and then I read the chapters that part 3 had, and then when there were no more chapters, I really wanted more. I was desperate for more chapters and was willing to do anything for more chapters. So I learned how to clean, and so to do that, I went to uh, some websites like Project Bite Me, and I scanned to try did their cleaning tests and cleaned some manga for them that I wasn't really that interested in, but like I wanted to get more experience.
Ah, I see. So, did you do releases with other groups, or
Yeah,
um,
I'm trying to remember what they were called. Like,
yeah.
okay, so there was I like helped crop so just like very little help, like the RRR boxing manga, and I tried doing this chapter of a soccer manga, like area night in our area.
Okay.
And that one was really hard to clean. And yeah, some other cool stuff. I can get you the names of.
Cool. So you had a little bit of experience before you hooked up with Fukumoto Crazy. So do you guys
Yeah.
remember when you? Okay, so you posted on the blog, and then Sonic Crazy. Um, did you test them out, or did you just kind of like, all right, here are the raws, have at it, or?
Uh, a little like halfway, I'd say. Like I sent him the next chapter, and he did a good job on it. So I was like, okay, so
Yeah, yeah. It
you
was
got the job.
Kaiji Part One, I think. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah, that was like my like go-to. Like here's my test manga for you.
Oh,
I
is that
think.
so? Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, it has an anime adaptation. They don't need the manga necessarily, so it's a good guinea pig.
Oh, that's true. Kind of test him out.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you guys are starting on. You did a little. Did you keep on going with translating the first part of Kaiji? Is that what happened? Like you sent him the test, and then you're like, okay, let's just run with it.
Pretty much, yeah. And we did some other stuff like Atsui's Tenma, I think was the next thing that I did. That took me a while.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a bit fuzzy after that. I can't like it all just kind of blurs together because that's around the time that Kazuhiko joined as well.
Ah, and who is
Um,
Kazuhiko?
he's not here today, but he was like for the long time it was just the three of us. It was me, Bigums, and Kazuhiko, and he just wanted to do he was the same as Bigums. He just approached me and was like, "Hey, I want to typeset for you," and I was actually kind of really impressed with like he was like the first. Like I hadn't really been using different fonts until like I talked with him and realized, oh, this is how uh how to make it look better is to use different fonts. So he basically took care of that.
I guess going like you've had. Crump Begins was talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Kazuhiko is God. Yes, Nerdy Bandit. Yes.
Oh,
uh,
Nerdy Bandit is actually Denji. He's our translator for Kurosawa.
oh wow, I love
Yeah.
Kurosawa. Thank you, Denji. I guess since we're coming up with roles, let's for those at home that don't know what make up a scanlation group, can you guys talk about the different roles within a scanlation group and what their jobs entail?
Sure. So for our group, we only have like three ones. There's translator, which is obvious. You just translate all the things and you put it into a text document.
Okay.
Um, and then there's cleaner, who like
Yeah,
just cleans up all the pages. Or yeah,
mm,
you go ahead.
yeah, the cleaner. They take out all the Japanese text and just make the pages look nice. They might have to splice together a 2-page spreads and stuff like that.
And where do you do most of your work becomes in? Like which program? Like
Photoshop.
Photoshop. What for those at home that don't know, what goes into cleaning a raw?
Yeah, first I get all the pages organized, like so they all are the same size and they're all like I rotate them all so that the it's like a 90 degrees and you level them so it's not like gray, it's like black and white,
Mm-hmm.
and then you white out all the Japanese text and then you redraw anything that you have to redraw.
Wow, that's wow, that's crazy. So, I mean, when you level something out, it's you kind of just you heighten the contrast and whatnot, or some other.
Yeah, yeah, that's like always kind of it looks a lot tougher than it is. You just all you got to do is hit levels and then move some sliders around on Photoshop, and then it takes all the grayness away and makes it clean and white black image.
Oh, good. For those, not to say that denigrates your ability. It's just we're trying to make. Hey, if you guys want to do that at home, here's
Yeah,
how you do it. GIMP is good, right? That's a free kind of Photoshop that you can use as well. That was brought up by Denji, Nerdy Bandit. Hey, what's up, Starfire 112? Good to see you. MS Paint. Whoa. um, So, what goes into the redrawing then? Like, what kind of situation would you have to redraw something?
So I would say certainly for the two-page spreads, like yeah, so because there'll be like a little white. Yeah, you just make it so it's one seamless image.
Oh,
You're basically taking two pages, like, because the original manga is like a book, right?
yes.
So there's a across like the two pages that you can see at one time. Sometimes there's like an image that's spread across the two pages. So when you're like looking at the open book, you can like see it across both pages. Basically, the double page spread is like taking the two pages and like drawing all the stuff in the crack, like in the gutter of the book,
The
and
gutter.
like yeah, and making it into one image as it is supposed to be presented, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times the text isn't just in nice white speech bubbles. They'll have it like be in front of mahjong tiles or across like the table or the bodyguards the white suits faces and stuff. So you gotta redraw
Wow.
that stuff or yeah, copy and paste a white suit from a different page and put him in there so it doesn't look like he's just yeah.
Take an eraser and just kind of scrawl, erase the
Yeah.
text that way. Wow, that's so that cleaning is really involved. Probably one of the more involved tasks that you do, right?
Yeah, in
It
fact, a
can be.
lot of groups split it into cleaning and redrawing. So
Oh,
like the redrawer like does like all the like actual drawing, and the cleaner just wipes out all the text basically. But Bigums does both of those things. So
wow. So
I,
big
I
gives.
feel I feel very comfortable with Fukumoto's manga in particular because I've been working with it for like 4 or 5 years. Like I feel like there's nothing he can throw at me that'll I haven't figured out some kind of cheat for. I
Wow.
haven't dealt with in some way.
Fukumoto-san maybe should create a manga about that. Like, okay, life and death cleaning of my manga or something. What is he going to do?
Yeah, no. Sometimes it bothers me. It'll be like, man, did you have to just have the text like right, like popping out of the little, thought bubble here? Like could you just put it all in the nice white bubbles? Would that have made such a difference? I don't know.
you just be like anyone else who writes manga.
Yeah.
So to give kind of viewers at home an idea of how long it takes, like how long does it take you to clean a page? You would you say, Crump?
Uh, you know, like so. Well, I would say to do a chapter, it usually takes me two evenings. So, but an evening maybe that's like I spend so maybe 5 hours ish
Wow,
a
wow.
chapter. But I watch uh, shows while I do it, which is nice.
Do you ever watch like the same episode that the manga that you're cleaning is covering sometimes?
uh,
No, is that just
yeah,
too much?
I wish. I wish. The only shows I can watch are shows that I don't have to pay full attention to.
Mm.
And a show with subtitles, I'm afraid I'd have to, because I can't, I don't understand Japanese quite yet,
Mm.
but I would have to be reading the subtitles so I couldn't focus on my Photoshop.
So how about you, Sonic Crazy? How long does it take for you to translate a chapter, so to say, since we're on the subject of chapters?
Yeah, it really depends on the chapter. Like, I'm not 100% fluent in Japanese, so if there's like the hardest thing that I ever had to translate was it was Master Keaton for like Happy Scans.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
it was like this. It was just there were these blocks of nothing but text, like just like Fukumoto like has like maybe 20 words a page. This had like 500 or something.
Oh.
It was very dense. It was very
Oh.
dense, and that took me a week.
Wow.
So, but normally they take me like a chapter of Akagi takes me like an hour, and a
Oh.
chapter of Kaiji takes me like an hour and a half. So,
Wow, that's great. Like Master Keaton, for you at home who aren't familiar with the title, is by Naoki Urasawa, who is known for most notably for Monster. He's also done 20th Century Boys. One of my favorites, he's done what Happy, right?
Yeah,
Um,
Is Happy fully scanlated yet?
I think so. I think Happy Scan,
Ooh.
like that's their whole thing is to
Oh,
scan
nice.
late happy. That's why they call it Happy Scans.
that's a really good manga, by the way. I really enjoy that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I've been reading the Master Keaton. I've got book 8 from the library this week, so I'll be checking that one out.
Nice.
Um,
I did chapter 6, I think. That was it.
Nice.
pinch hitting. So
All right.
Sonic Crazy, how did you learn Japanese? I guess that brings us to we kind of take it for granted here, but how did you get into that?
Yeah, I got really lucky in that I went to a middle school that actually had Japanese like as a
A
elective, like you
middle
could take it.
school.
Yeah, a
Wow.
middle school. It's very unusual. It's very unusual. It
Were you
was
in
just pure
Japan?
chance.
Did you live in Japan or what?
No. I've I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I've always been here. It was just here. So yeah, I just really lucked out that I got a middle school that taught Japanese, so I was learning it from a really young age. So I have like just I don't I'm like I haven't put in the hours to learn all the nouns. I probably could if I really wanted to.
Yes.
Um, but I know like basic sentence structure and like I don't like with a dictionary I can look up pretty much any sentence because I like understand like how Japanese works and like all uh the particles or whatever they're called and how all that strings
Mhm.
together. So
Wow, that's amazing. Did you ever kind of figure out because that's pretty rare. I haven't heard of Japanese being offered as a middle school language. Usually they just have what the Romance languages like French, German,
uh-huh.
Spanish. Um,
Yeah, it was actually so like I remember that like a foreign ambassador from Japan actually visited our school because we were the only place in like the Colorado or probably or even like the Midwest that had a Japanese program. So yeah.
He give you a Tony Gawa speech.
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, he did.
he did. So, did they in fact? So you learned in middle school. Did you keep with it, and did they offer Japanese then in high school?
Yeah. Yeah, so I also went to a Japanese like a high school that taught Japanese which I picked specifically because it taught Japanese like, you know.
Oh, so they let you
Um
go maybe out of the district. They're like, "Hey, I learned Japanese in middle school. You gotta let me go to this
not
one."
not no, it was actually pretty close.
Oh, it
Like
was.
again, I just got lucky. So, yeah.
Wow.
Um
It's like
uh
getting like for Uradora, that
yeah,
created Sonic Crazy, and then he would go on to translate Mahjong manga.
right.
So you were in high school. How how hard was it to go from middle school to high school? Were there other people that just took it straight from high school and didn't have your middle school background?
Yeah, pretty much. Like there wasn't really anyone else who like jumped straight to second year of Japanese except for me. So, that was cool.
Do you think like
Um
that time in middle school kind of helped you kind of stay with it since you got into it so young, maybe, or
yeah, I'd say so.
while you're
I'd say so.
while while all those hormones were working on your brain, you were getting cast into Japanese translation
Yeah,
a little bit.
exactly.
Did you find some of your classmates from high school went on and did uh, work with Japanese more or learn Japanese
No,
to
not
get to?
really. Like
Oh,
they like our Japanese program actually got shut down like a few years after I left.
oh, I'm sorry
Um
to hear that. Oh,
yeah, 'cause like nobody really I don't know. It wasn't really producing anything, so it wasn't worth the money. So,
that's that's sad. But at least
yeah.
it produced you,
Exactly.
and
Uh-huh.
luckily you snuck through the cracks and was able to get through that. So how so you took second year Japanese as a freshman, right? Entering in the program.
Mhm.
Um, did you find that you were kind of outstripping your classmates and kind of needed more, or did you get special assignments? The reason why I keep on
Nah.
dwelling on this is because you have a good proficiency. You kind of have taken it after you've graduated, rather than like forgetting it. You know, like, oh, that was kind of cool, and like, oh,
I'd say mostly what's kept me practicing it is translating manga. I wouldn't say like um that I particularly like was going to practice it anyway, you know. I just
oh.
feel like, because I got into manga, I've been practicing it, like, and that's pretty much it.
So, I guess, so you finished the high school program. Were you scanlighting, doing translations while you were in high school, or how long did it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah,
I
please tell us
started
about that.
in yeah, I started in sophomore year, I think. That's when I was doing the original like the part that I told you about when I was just doing it by
Oh,
myself.
and how
Um,
did you? How did you? Did we fully explain how you got into that? Like,
I guess we didn't.
yeah, yeah. So let's go to that. Yeah. Okay.
So well, we kind of did. We kind of did. I like was with basically what happened is I was just like I really wanted to see more kaiji because I was hooked on kaiji and I wanted to read like part three.
Yep.
Oh.
So I went on. This place is dead now. Like nobody posts there anymore. But used to be a live journal page, uh, called Zawa
Yeah.
Zawa, and that was like the
Yeah.
only place on the entire internet in English that you could talk about Fukumoto. So I went there and I was just like, "Hey, can I join a group? Can I like typeset or something? I want to see more kaiji. Can I help get more kaiji?" And like nobody said anything.
Nobody said
So
anything, and you're like, "Oh my
yeah,
god,
and
Zawa, Zawa, Zawa." That was funny.
yeah, and then just out of nowhere, one day, like this group called We Can't Decide, started scanlating kaiji, and I was like, "Hey, I asked for you
Yep.
guys." So I just went over to them and I was like, "Please let me join you," and they were
Uh-huh.
like, "Okay."
They're like, I
And
guess.
yeah, and by the end of like they started with 3 chapters, and by chapter 13, I was basically running the whole group,
Wow.
basically. So yeah,
So for the viewers at home, so the third part of Kaiji is which
it's
arc is that?
Minefield Mahjong.
Okay, Minefield Mahjong, which is a big thing because you have, you have the exciting like where they're on Espoir, right, and they're doing like the rock paper scissors, John Pom arc. He gets off, and so those are pretty, like the games are pretty simple, right? Or not super simple, but
Yeah. Anyone can learn them, like, or without even knowing, yeah, anything previously.
yeah. So like e-card, etc., etc. The tissue box, and then it goes in the second part, which is um,
Underground
under,
Chinchirorin.
underground Chichirin, which is
Genome.
yeah
Chinchirorin.
Chinchirin. I tell you, so when I went to the underground Mahjong Janso, I go there just to hang out, and the owner of the Janso, there were too many people playing already, and so I was just hanging out with me and Emsan, uh, and the owner came over and said, "Hey, well, we were just looking around, and they're like, oh, we found this Saran wrap bowl with some mahjong dice in it," and I was like, "Oh, this is a chinchirin, right? Or how do you say?"
Chinchirorin.
Yeah, chinchirin, and I was like, "Oh, this is chinchirin." And then I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat." So I kept on looking at. I was looking at Emsan and like, "Oh wow," we're kind of rolling, shaking the dice. And then the owner comes over and he's like, "Oh, you want to play Chinchirori? All right, let's play." And I was like, "What? All right, I guess we're gonna play." Uh, so they were playing um, Tengo Mahjong next to us, and we were playing Chinchirun. Not high stakes. Like I think it was like a dollar.
You didn't bet your whole month's paycheck of the Pericos.
Yeah, no, I didn't work for Perica's and bet them all. No, they were. I think it was like a dollar bill for one. So got police listening. It was low stakes, So he taught us how to play, and so we played throughout the night. I ended up losing some money, not as much as when I first walked into the John sale. But and then we went for ramen, and Emson was the big winner and kindly paid for my ramen. So thank you, Emson. You still owe me that other money I lost when I first walked in. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So that's my little history of Chinchuan. And that game's not really super esoteric either. You're rolling dice. You're like, okay, you roll a pair. You know, two numbers match. The third number becomes your point. You know, and people can pretty much figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, that's simple. And pachinko is just like, I
Yeah.
imagine most
Also
people when
simple.
they saw pachinko were like, "What is this?"
like it starts getting more and more esoteric, right? It's like, and
Hmm.
then this happens. You're like, okay, all right, Chinchuan, okay, I kind of understand. All right, that's good. Pachinko, and then you're going, well, I guess maybe, okay. And then finally, so do you remember when the Pachinko arc, the Bog arc stopped, and then how long it took for them to finally get into start translating the Minefield Mahjong part?
It was a while, I think.
Yeah,
Or was
right.
it?
It's really stalled out. That's what I think I remember when I.
Do you mean for it to be translated into English, or for Fukumoto himself to write it?
Oh, to be
Uh,
both, I guess. I don't know, but mostly translated
no,
into English, right?
yeah, no, I think he's talking about like the time when like Zawanons just basically finished part two, and then we're like, okay, next part is Mahjong. We're getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, you're like, see ya, nope, out of there. They're like, nope.
Yeah, pretty much. So it took some time for weirdos like us to pick up part three.
So yeah, so it looks like I'm looking at the first release for Kaiji Part 3 was January 30th, 2011, and then our group put out the last chapter November 17th, 2012.
Wow.
So yeah, about 2 years.
I guess this organically leads to. Um, I guess I want to ask Sonic Crazy. So you've learned Japanese. You were like, hey, I really want this Minefield Mahjong arc to be translated. Did you, in fact, know how to play Richi Mahjong when you were wanting that um, arc to be translated?
Yeah, yeah. So like I'd actually like before I read Kaiji Part 3, I'd watched Akagi and like I'd learned how to play Mahjong basically. Like I didn't know it as well as I do now. Like I didn't know what a Chankan was, and I didn't know uh like what like all the weights were and stuff like that, but I learned that stuff as I went.
Oh, okay. Did,
Um
did you learn this through playing a game like on Tenho, or did you play a different game, or
uh
live tiles at this point?
like bits and pieces. Like an example is like I didn't know what a Gembutsu was until I read Akagi, and like I was looking at it and I was like, what's a Gembutsu? And I like looked it up online and it's like, oh, it's a tile that someone has played. So because of the Furiten rule, you can't like win on a tile you've already played, so those are 100% safe.
Oh,
So
cool. So you did look up this
so yeah, I
terminology.
learned that one from Akagi,
Wow.
basically.
When I watched Akagi the first time, I didn't know about the Shantan, even though they tried to explain it. But yeah, so like that whole scene where they're like, figure out how many Shantan this hand is in. I didn't get any of that the first time I watched Akagi.
Right. I
So
don't think anyone did.
yeah, yeah. We're like, man, he's really cool, and he keeps on winning. Woo! Um, so I would like to interject for all you viewers out there. Crump Bigums is actually the winner of the most recent, the first PML Ricci Open that just happened about a month or two ago. And Crump, you obviously know a little bit about Ricci Mahjong. So how did you get into learning how to play and being able to play it at a competitive level? I guess.
Well, yeah, definitely started with Kaiji. Like my brother came home one day and he was like, "Dude, there's this anime they got guys like with star chips and they're on a boat and stuff. And I was like, that sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Because that's exactly what's in Yu-Gi-Oh. But
Mahjong is Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah.
oh, and they use card games for rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
He also said card games, and I'm like, this is Yu-Gi-Oh. But then
That's
it
a
was
children's card game.
yeah, rock paper scissors is pretty much a children's game. So yeah, they play a children's card game with star chips on a boat. Yes. Anyway, yeah, I got real addicted to Kaiji, and then seeing that part 3 was about Mahjong, I was like, oh, I should learn about this Mahjong. And then I found out that Fukumoto had another anime about Akagi, so I watched Akagi, and that really got me hungry to learn more about Mahjong, and I found a Seattle Mahjong group where I live, Seattle, and
Wow. Amazing.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, first I went to some just like regular Mahjong groups. I think they played like Hong Kong, Mahjong, and they were
okay.
kind of like so like middle-aged women, who know nothing about Japanese Mahjong.
Were you trying to ask
I
them like,
played there a
hey,
few times. But
Japanese
then I
Mahjong?
found a group that just plays Ricci Mahjong, and so I just stuck with them.
So you go in and you go to your first meeting with the Seattle Ricci Mahjong group. Do you remember
Yeah.
where it was, or?
Yeah, they used to be at a mall in Bellevue. Like
Oh.
we just play on a little square table, kind of in like a food court area outside of like except yeah, like there was like oversized chess pieces there. And it was like encouraged people to play games there. So
Oh. So when you first started playing, how long ago was that? Can you give us a window of what year that
yeah, I'd
was?
say 2011, 2012, probably 2011.
And the Seattle group is pretty large, yeah? Were they pretty big back then as well, or?
No, pretty smaller for sure.
Mm.
Like yeah, we'd get probably 2 tables for Sunday Mahjong.
Wow, that's great. So you're
Yeah.
learning how to play, and you're going pretty regularly. 2011.
Yep.
Now you're knowing how
Yep.
to play Ouija Mahjong.
Yeah, there was a real cool time in the summer of 2012 where they had Jen Barr come over because she's from Seattle, and she
Oh.
plays mahjong obviously, and so she came over and played mahjong with our group, and she was also with Ryan Morris, and he
Oh.
works for Kindai Mahjong. I'm not entirely sure in what capacity. I think he's an editor perhaps, but and so he brought like some prizes. Like there were 2 Akagi books. They were volume 26, and so we played 2 tables. One table had Jen, one table had Ryan, and I was on Ryan's table, and I got first place, so I got to get Akagi book, and it was like such a great moment for me. Back in 2012, summer of 2012.
Wow, that's amazing. That's like old school, like 2012. Do you know who put that together, or who reached out to get that going? It's pretty amazing.
Probably Zachary Franks, who is a big, like he's one of the leaders of the Seattle Mahjong group. Like he hosts the Sakura-con Mahjong room every year, and I think he was talked to Jen Barr. I'm not entirely sure, but
Wow, that's
someone
great.
talked to Jen Barr. Maybe she found our group, or someone found her. Maybe he was Hiro Alexander. I'm not sure.
That's great. And Jen Barr and Ryan Morris, they're great people. They're kind of the first.
Have you met Ryan Morris?
I haven't, but I have an interesting story about Ryan Morris where.
Ooh.
So when I was trying to hunt around, because I live in SoCal, and I was reading from Tom Sloper's site, Sloperama, I would kind of just go there and like, hey, I want to learn Ricci Mahjong. So I'd post to like looking for players, can someone teach me, and I didn't get any replies. I do this like every year or so, like dating back to probably around 2012, 2002. So I would kind of go, oh, I'd really like to learn how to play, but no one was teaching it or meeting. So, but I look at his website, and it talked about when they had Ryan Morris come over, this is in like 2004 or 5 or 6, where actually some Riichi Mahjong pros came over from Japan, and they kind of tried to teach people to play. Did a little tour, went to some of the Jansos that were still active in the SoCal area, and I'd be like, wow, I just kind of missed the boat on this by like 6-7 years, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. So it shows a Ryan Morris like playing with the Japanese pros, and so that's how I know of Ryan Morris.
Cool.
How cool that is.
He's real nice.
And Tom Sloper's site is basically how I found out where to play Mahjong at a Janso, because I would go around and just try to knock on these old Janso businesses, and that's been kind of before how I was able to get in. It wasn't until I met with the Pacific Mahjong League that was at TohoCon last year, where I was running the gaming room, and then some of their members came up with a Mahjong table and were like, hey, we want to play Mahjong here. Like, I was like, is this Riichi Mahjong? They're like, yes, we're going to teach people how to play Riichi Mahjong. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've always wanted to learn. I think there was something at Pacific Media Expo where they were doing teaching, but I didn't make it out there. But so in between I was running the gaming room, I'd go over there and try to learn how to play. And so that was great. September 2015. And I remember Kira saying, we can't fit this in our car. Do you want to take it? And I was like, yeah, I want to take it. And so I got a guide and the table. I bought a set and started the SoCal Mahjong group. So, but you guys got in there 2011. Sonic Crazy, do you play with a regular group?
No, I've been looking for one here, but there's not really one that plays Riichi Mahjong here. So if I could, I'd move somewhere where there was one, but I don't have the money.
Well, if that changes,
we got to go to Japan someday. Hit up the Jansos.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that too. Maybe we could do something.
Yeah, I'm jealous of you, Fernetta. Yeah, you played it for a year, and you've gotten to see the Jansos in Japan. So I want to make the trek there one day.
Yeah, you should come down here, and if you guys come down to SoCal, like I have a guest room, so you guys can stay, and I'll take you to the underground Janso. And Tuvia actually came down and played with La Pomme, Los Angeles Pride of Mahjong, the Japanese Mahjong dojo, and they meet every Saturday and Sunday, and they play all day and all night. So they're great.
Wow.
They're great players too. So there's the above ground and underground. You guys can play. Oh, hey, what's up, Q? Good to see you. Muller John, good to see you too. Yes, they gave me a Mahjong table for free. And no, it's not one of the Amos Rexes or Atomos. They gave me one of the the green plastic ones. So I know I could have just passed it off, and you would have been none the wiser, Muller John. But I'm not gonna be that bad. Hey Q, good to see you. Q's in the chat. Q says, you and DDR Dan should hook up. I guess DDR Dan is in Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually talked to him, and I've tried to hook up before. I'm having trouble, like, trying to connect with the group that does play here. Like I said, I couldn't find one, but there actually is one, but I don't know. Oh,
one of the host of two-player Mahjong games that we do.
Yeah. That's that group that you found on Meetup.com is actually mine. I made it, so I know about it.
Let me tell you, Sonic Crazy, I found a Denver Mahjong group.
Yeah, look, you said there were none here.
You said there were none. You a lie.
You got called out, Sonic Crazy.
Yeah, I know. I guess there is one.
And good to see you, Tambers. Welcome. Okay, so we talked about that, and so Crump, how did you feel when you started getting good at Mahjong? You were like, yeah, I kind of know what's going on. I might be able to win a whole tournament and go to the World Riichi Mahjong Championship.
I mean, yeah, it's like now I have to accept that I'm good, but I'm still like, no, I'm lucky. I just don't. I'm not that great. But no, I don't know. Well, if I guess play defense a lot. You know, I try to judge my hands by or my games by if I don't deal into a Ron this Hanchan, I did good.
Oh, so yeah. So what's your advice? You play defensively, like you would.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I feel like when I play online at on Tenno and stuff, I don't play as defensively. Like when I'm in person, it's like so much more like embarrassing or something to deal in, or you know, it's like it's there's so much more tension in real life, and you have more time to like think about what's the safest tile to go or for or whatever.
Wow. So would you say there is a definite difference between playing online and then playing live tiles? I guess so to say.
That I find there to be one. Yeah.
You know what, I feel the same way. Like at Tenho, it's like, okay, you're like, dealt in, okay, let's queue up the next game. But
Yeah.
especially when you're playing live tiles, and I play with the Lapone members, and I'm kind of like get like dealing in person is so horrible, and this is kind of like why it's so good to play like live tiles. Not saying opposed to Tenno. There's definitely a part, but to other games that are live, like poker. Uh,
Hmm.
your pride, money's one thing in poker, but your pride in live tile mahjong is just it's just so embarrassing. You feel like not only did you let down yourself, but sometimes if you deal in a lot, like it warps the game, right? Like
Yeah.
you're not being, at least the way that I feel, it's like I'm not pulling my own weight, so I'm kind of throwing the game to someone else, right? And it's
Yeah.
just,
I've definitely seen players get upset when other players are just like dealing into dealer Hanemans and stuff, and it's like, they're like they'll be visibly upset that someone else is just giving everyone winning tiles out.
yeah, right? Like, he's in Ricci, he's Oya, he Ricci. It's gonna
Yeah.
be like
And
his
now
game.
you're conning. You're really conning, right?
Yeah, right? They're like, and then Khan. You're like, what? You're like, what? And so, gosh, it's so embarrassing. Yeah. Okay, well, there's tips from the PML Ricci Mahjong champion. Are there any other tips that you have for other beginning players, or maybe some other intermediate players? Like,
Don't try not to call so much. Yeah, I really like Pinfu. That's like my the one I just try to force. You know.
you go for ping fu,
Oh yeah,
like close ping fu, or
yeah. Ricci Pinfu are my favorites.
ah,
I try not to open my hand. Well, I mean, I do open my hand. You know, but there's a lot to consider when you're opening your hand, right? You know, what am I in first place? You know, like is anybody else Ricci? How many rounds are left? How many turns are left in the game? You know.
oh, I see. So you're the. How about Tanya combined with ping fu? Do you push Tanya ping
Yeah,
fu a lot, like mentan ping?
yeah. When you can, yeah.
Mm,
If it doesn't slow your hand down too much.
I see. Well, there you have it. We'll have a recap after you play the World Ricci Championship next year. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like funny. It's like your prize is you get to go do another crazy tournament. And I'm like it's like it's gonna be so much pressure, but I'm excited.
It's like going from the game like, "Hey, Kaiji, you've just won Minefield Mahjong," and you're like, "And now you get to do it, and now you're gonna
Yeah,
go
you
play."
put it all. You risk it all again.
So getting back to Fukumoto Crazy, how many people are in Fukumoto Crazy now?
So there's me, Bigums, Denji, Tamber. Uh, we
Edek.
got this. What's his name?
Edek.
Edek. Okay. We found him like well he found us a couple months ago and he wanted to do Kurosawa.
Oh
So
yay! I
Yeah.
love Kurosawa. So getting back to that, you got the members. Um, oh yeah, Mola John said there's no such thing as open team food. I'm sorry. Yeah. So which series have you guys done? You've done Akagi, right? You're translating Akagi. You've done um, Kaiji. What else ones have you done?
We've done Hero, Gyakyo no Tohai, we've done Washizu. I mean, we've done like well, 3 of the 4 like Akagi spin-offs. Um,
What's the fourth one that you have not done yet?
And
yeah, 10.
Oh.
And we've done a bunch of various one-shots. We've done Zawa Anthology.
Oh, I love that. Those
Um,
are so wacky.
yeah. What else?
Tenma.
Oh yeah, Atsuize Tenma, Atsuize Penchan. There just a
Ruben
bunch of
39.
a bunch of smaller ones. Those are the
Yeah.
major ones.
Yeah.
Are there any other of Fukumoto's works that you want to do that you haven't done, or other major?
I don't know. If I had to pick like one Fukumoto work that we haven't done, I'd probably pick like Burai Nakaze Tetsu or something like one of those like older works that are like kind of weird.
Oh, so what's that about? I guess.
Oh, it's a horse racing manga. Like I'd be like I'd be interested to see like what it's about basically. I haven't like really given it a solid read yet, but
That would be
yeah.
cool. I used to play a lot of the Gallop Racer series on PlayStation 2, and so I kind of like those horse racing games too. So that would be great. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Um, Crumpiggins, are you familiar with any other works that haven't been scanlated by Fukumoto-san?
Well, yeah.
Fukumoto,
There's just a huge pile of books that that need to be translated, such as the rest of Kaiji One Poker, the rest of Hero, the Washizu stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we get through all that, I don't think we're going to be like delving into any things that we haven't done unless he comes out with a new series.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Can you guys give me?
I want to see more Tonegawa.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's stupid.
Oh.
I don't like it.
It's him agonizing over like micromanagerial decisions or something like that.
Yep.
I like that kind of stuff. Especially when like, kind of reminds me when Kurosawa is like buying food for his coworkers and trying to figure out the correct way of revealing it. Like, it was me all along. I put that extra tempura. Or,
Yeah, from the first couple chapters.
yeah. It kind of those Tonegawa chapters kind of remind me of that. So, and I like it because you see kind of like the vulnerable side of the protagonist. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Kurosawa, Legend of the Strongest Man Kurosawa is great. I really love it. It kind of reminds me, especially the new arc reminds me of just kind of the older seinen manga, like Doing Time by Hanawa, where he talks about when he was modified his model guns to shoot like bullets, and then he goes to jail for like 3 years, or he's sentenced to 3 years. I think he gets out earlier. So he writes a whole manga about what it was like to live in jail or Japanese prison. And also there's another one. These are both put out by Ponent Mon and Fanfare. There's also another one, Disappearance Diary, where this guy he becomes homeless, and he just writes about his experiences being homeless and becoming alcoholic.
Yeah, that'd be similar to Kurosawa, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that links over to Kurosawa. So there's plenty. There's much more Fukumoto to come, right?
Oh yeah, we're nowhere near done. Nowhere near
done.
So
Nope.
guys, join up with Fukumoto. Crazy. Get him putting out the stuff. Yeah.
Add your power to ours.
Yeah. But not to take away that you guys have done a lot already. Like your body of work that you've scanlated. And I wanted to kind of stress the importance of how important mahjong anime and mahjong manga are to spreading Michi Mahjong, because it gives the drama, it kind of gives the to the game, like the motivation to the game,
Right.
at least for me, I think with a lot of people, they were kind of Akagi came out as an anime, and then I'm like, what is it? Like what's this game that he's playing? And as I'm learning more and more about Michi Mahjong, like it's very gratifying to kind of rewatch Akagi. I was actually watching it in the hotel room to kind of psych myself up, and it's surprising how much more I get from Akagi as I learn more about the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had that same experience, like 5 times as I gradually knew more about it.
Well, we're winding about an hour. Is there questions from the Twitch chat that you'd like to ask our guests here? We're getting to the hour mark, and maybe start winding it up. So go ahead and keep on asking questions. Sonic Crazy, is there any things that you'd like to talk about? Maybe future plans for Fukumoto Crazy?
Um, not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to get any chapters out at all. I think we could probably use some more help. I think. Do you think so, Bigums? Do you think we could
Yes.
use? Yeah.
Yes,
I
please.
mean, yeah. I'm like, well, me and Denji are the only real translators. So, I mean, unless a new translator shows up, we can't work like that much faster. But
Do you find that's like kind of a bottleneck sometimes?
not really, because translating doesn't take as long as like cleaning
I
and
see.
typesetting. So, I mean, I can do more, but I mean, sometimes I just don't.
Yeah, real life gets in the way. I totally agree with
Ah,
that too. Um, let's see what else we got. So, have you guys? Can you guys give a? You don't have to be too specific, but your members. We have Crump Biggins that's in Washington. You're in Colorado. Sonic Crazy. Where are the other members from?
yeah. I think they're
Where was
both from
Tenge
California,
from?
the two
China?
guys that are here.
California. Were they at the Pacific Mahjong League tournament?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, they could. So Denji and Tamara are here. They
Oh,
could tell you about it.
okay, Denji and Tambers. Are you in Southern California? If so, you gotta come to La Palme and play. Or NorCal is NorCal's PML hometown, so you can play in Danville. Wow, that's crazy. So, well,
Crazy with a K.
yeah, that's right. So, guys, if you were to meet Fukumoto-san in person, let's say you came out to some convention and you guys were able to go, what would you like to say to him?
I'd just like to thank him for all the thought-provoking manga that he's put out. Like a lot of the stuff that he's written, like the final arc of 10, for example, and the ending of Kurosawa and stuff like that, have really like changed the way that I thought about the world. So I would just really like to, thank him for opening my eyes to a bunch of new like philosophical perspectives that I hadn't like thought of like previously.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. How about you, Crumb?
Yeah. Ideally, get a handshake from him, and then I would look up ahead of time how to say in Japanese that you are my favorite author of all time. Thank you very much. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I, he's been really great because it's as I'm getting older and reading like seinen manga, Legend of Kurosawa really. I mean, Akagi's really good, and I mean, all of his they're very emotionally driven. And it kind of talks about what it's like to growing older. And Legend of Kurosawa has been
Yeah.
really great. And
Brian, who's your favorite Fukumoto character?
Fukumoto character?
You got to pick one.
Yeah, I probably say Kaiji.
Yeah.
Because Akagi's an elemental force, you know. But Kaiji is like he loses a lot, and that kind of terror, like he experiences like true terror, you know, and just the lows.
Yeah, he's really with emotions, you know. Like Akagi, no emotions, but Kaiji, you feel for him. He's emotional, and it's great.
What I really enjoy, actually, and Kurosawa is a close second, I must say too, because he has that. I love his kind of. He's almost like Homer Simpson of Japan. You know, he kind of. If he didn't meet Marge and get married, like if he just kept on.
The tragic.
Yeah, like tragic Homer. Does that? Yeah, a Homeric tragedy, so to say. I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying with that. You know.
I kind of.
Yeah. He kind of has that. I can imagine some situation. You could put Homer Simpson in there. But Kaiji also, especially when he gets out and he invites everybody, like he has no money, right? And then one of the corporation guys, he's like, "Man, you suck. Here's some money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some money so you can have food with your friend," because he's not gonna hang out with them, right? So
great moment.
Yeah, so he gives him the money, and Kaiji is so. I mean, here's the guy, the evil corporation guy, giving him money, but he's so thankful for this like gesture, you know. And then he goes, and there's that feel of utter joy when he's like spending money, and they're all eating together with his friends.
Yeah,
that's a really touching moment.
Kaiji is total trash when he's not in a life-threatening situation.
Yeah, he's totally.
And sometimes even then he is.
And you know, is there? So here's a question: are there any Mikoko and Kaiji doujinshi out there that?
There must be. There must be.
I don't know about.
I've seen pictures. Yeah. I haven't seen full comics.
Okay.
But there has to be.
We can't help you find them, but they're out there.
Maybe a Fukumoto crazy trip. Oh, okay, all right. That's too much to ask. Okay.
I've seen a Kurosawa doujinshi, believe it or not. Yeah, seriously.
We gotta start.
I could describe it, but I don't know what rating you're giving this podcast.
We'll save it for the next. Part.
Okay.
The Ura Fukumoto crazy.
Yeah. Ura Fukumoto underneath Fukumoto crazy.
Yes.
Well,
the dark side.
Fukumoto crazy after dark.
Well, is there anything else, guys, that you'd like to add? I think this is a good note to end on real. So you at home out there can go look for the Fukumoto doujinshi. Is there anything? I'd just like to end with me talking to you guys. Again, thank you for all the work that you've done. I just want to give you guys that recognition. It's been a great joy to read the manga over the years, and it's been a long journey.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, I didn't get to finally learn Riichi Mahjong, but I had always been kind of interested in it for some years. But just all these factors had to come together, and you guys were a big factor to get finally.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. So
thanks for having us. Stay on the podcast. Let me know anytime you want someone to fill in the void,
or if you want us to come on again.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't have to be like a Fukumoto crazy episode. You guys can just come in and hang out and just chill, you know. And maybe one day all of Fukumoto crazy can get together and we'll all raise a glass.
Yeah. Once Denji and Tamber get mics.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Okay, guys. Well, this is the Mahjong Meetup, episode 8. Again, thanks for joining us. We have Sonic Crazy, Crumb Biggins, Fukumoto Crazy Scanlation Group. We'll go ahead and post links to their blog and where you can read the scanlations. So again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the future episodes.
Cheers.